Greetings, everyone, and thank you all for tuning in. Welcome to another edition of Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. We are on episode number 71. This will be the third video in our series of Think Like a Barber, Foundation, Focus, and Execution. It's where skills meet structure and structure build professionals. So tonight we're going to be talking about sectioning being a strategy and controlling the hair. You control the cut, or I'm going to add in, because I am I specialize in Afro texture hair, braiding, locks, and twists, two-strand twists, and all of that. Not just controlling the cut, but controlling your sections as you're braiding, as you're retwisting, as your two-strand twisting, whatever it is you're doing as it relates to braiding. If you control your sections and control the hair, you'll be able to better control the outcome as well as your cuts if you're cutting. So we're going to talk about that. So controlling the hair, or if you don't control the hair will control the outcome. So if you aren't able to control the hair, you won't get the outcome that you're looking for. But if you control the hair will control the outcome. All right. So sectioning isn't extra. It's the difference between a clean cut or clean, parting or braiding. And I'm going to use that interchangeably, even though with some of the slides, I had ChatGPT help me with my visual presentations and not just along with my mannequins that we got here. So last week we said this Pretty Ricky, and we didn't get a male version name for LaDosha. So we still got to come up with the male version of LaDosha. It might be Lolo or something. I don't know. And I had my little buddy here. She was at the speaking engagement that I had for an elementary school class that I did a youth summit session a few weeks ago. So she still got her little braids in. But anyway, we're going to work with all of that. So today we're breaking down how structure brings control and control brings consistency. So as you all know, I have 3 points that I'm going to talk about. Then I'm going to share some real talk moments as it relates to our topic, and then I'll close us out. So I won't be before you too long, but nonetheless, I'm going to share some things with you, as well as some examples. We're going to use Pretty Ricky here, and we got to get the male version name of LaDosha for this one here. So nonetheless, as I mentioned before, we are in a series entitled Think Like a Barber, Foundation, Focus, and Execution. This is the third video of that series. If you haven't seen the first two, the first one was the consultation is the cut before the cut. And then the second one, which is video 70. So the first one is video 69. The second one is video 70. See it before you cut it. Visualize the outcome. That's the second video within this series. And I want to say I have like 10 videos in this particular one. But nonetheless, let's get into it. Before I get into it, we're going to put this title up so you're able to see that. I want to welcome everybody who's tuning in to tonight's podcast. I am Yah-Tay Keaton, your host and barber educator for this particular series, as well as I'm a barber stylist as well. Master hair care, but barber stylist. So in my field, I operate similar to a cosmetology on the barbering side, yet I specialize in Afro textured hair, meaning my focus is locks, braids, twists. Anything dealing with natural hair care, that's me. But I can cut any texture, and I do cut. However, That's my focus. So getting back to tonight's episode 71, sectioning is strategy. Control the hair, you control the cut, you control the braiding, you control the maintenance or the lock retwist. You control all of that if you have a strategy in sectioning the hair to get the job done. So point number one, we're going to break down clean parts create clean cuts. And when you think about parting, we're going to say sectioning the head as it relates to cutting, and parting the hair as it relates to braiding. But in this visual that you will see, you'll see some lines. I tried to get it straightened out, but anywho, I'm grateful for AI technology to help provide me with visuals for this section. So for this first one, we're talking about, let me remove that real quick. We are talking about here, let's get me up. Oh, y'all, here we go. Here we go. Let's get this first slide up. We are talking about, hold on here. Let me get this visual real quick so that I can see it as well. Y'all just hold on, hold on, hold on. Let's do it. Let's do this. So our first point, we're talking about clean parts or clean sections that create clean cuts and clean braiding. Like I said, I am a barber stylist. I work with Afro textured hair a lot. So in sharing that information, you're going to hear me interchange or change between parting and sectioning, or looking at the section of the head as it relates to cutting. So the first point is creating clean parts create clean cuts. So if your sections are messy, guess what? Your results will be too. So let's get our little buddy right here. I know for y'all Instagram folks, it might be a little tight to see this here. But nonetheless, let me back up a little bit so I can put her in front of me. Uh-oh. I got this tripod here, y'all. Hold on, bear with me, bear with me. So I can scooch back a little bit and put her in front. That way you see it. So here, let's put her up just a little bit. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. So I think it'll be easier to share with you as it relates to doing the sectioning as if I'm braiding, so that you'll see what I'm talking about in terms of a better visual. So right now, sorry kids, I'm taking out the braids that they did in my mannequin. I've actually left them in since it was done, but nonetheless, it's all good. It's all good. You know how it is when kids do something, you want to hold on to it for as long as possible. So that's what I did until I decided to use her again. So when braiding, and you braiders out there know this, if your sections aren't together in terms of the visual that you have for that particular style or design that you're going to do, you got to section the hair out. You want to section it out, map it out. I like to say map it out too. And same with a cut. If you're cutting, you don't want to be all over the place when you're cutting the hair, because it won't yield the end result that you're seeking. Therefore, you won't provide the client with what they're expecting to receive. So with that, give me a second here while I comb it. I got one more here. One more. And just so you all know, if you're working on a mannequin, it's not the same as working on a human head. And the reason why I say that, so your parts, how they put the hair into the mannequin's head, won't be precise like you can get it in our hair. But you'll come really close. So if you can see this here, you see that part there? So what we mean, if your parts aren't clean, your sections are not going to be clean. So if this part is like this here, is off, well, let me do it on an angle so you can see it. It's not going, not going to be clean. You got to make sure that that section is clean. So with it being clean, let me get my notes right here. So let me just pull this over. This is straight hair, okay? So if you're working with eye hair, you're working with a cut. So suppose this individual wanted to cut his sides and back off, and he wanted to leave the top. So it depends on what he's going to do with the top as to how you section it out. Do you put a clean part around the head as if he's gonna, basically braid the top or not? Let's do that real quick. I'm just gonna finger part so you can get a visual of what I'm talking about. So my clients who have locks and or braids on the top, they tend to have a clearly defined part around the head. So for him, if you all could see this, we would section it out. Guess I could put him on the mannequin stand, huh, y'all? Hold on. Let me move her real quick. We're gonna make this doable here. And I'm trying to keep it in the frame so that our Instagram folks can see it as well, because the frame is really, really small. So I'm gonna turn it this way while I part out this section here, as if he has consulted with me and said he wants to keep the top because he wants to braid it. He wants the sides and back cut. I might end up doing that on this one and then just ordering me another mannequin. But nonetheless, you see here how that part is clean. So depending on how much of the section he wants to keep, we're going to part it out so that we can cut it properly. I'm just going to use all my clips here. But y'all see what I'm saying? If your sections are messy, the results will be messy too. But as you can see here, this section is pretty clean, or as clean as it's going to get. Because they put the hair in. You see that? All right. So using sections, a sectioning gives you visual clarity so you can see the difference between the top and the side that he wants to cut. All right. He wants to cut the sides and back, but keep the top. All right. So with that, it gives you visual clarity. It gives you the physical control, because see, now I can control all of this here, and I know where I'm going to cut based on what he desires. All right. Let me move it over a little bit more here. Can y'all see that? Okay. And it also is consistent guidelines. So with this here, we're going to go on around. And this mannequin represents textured hair. Okay. We're using this one as if it was going to be cut, and I'll show you the other one for braiding. So here, you remember when I said in our last video that we aren't 100% symmetrical, so that you want to use areas on the head to ensure that it appears symmetrical. So for here, we are right at the corner of the eye. I could go down just a tad bit more so we can gather more. So I'm going to go off the corner of the eye on this side. I hadn't combed through the hair, so it's a little tangled. All right. And I'm using my clips to hold the hair. And I'm bringing it on around, as y'all can see. Make sure we got this right. You see that? Let me pull it up just a little bit more. There we go. So you can see here, we're going to continue that parting on around. But before I do that, you got the side here, and we're going to come about right here on the same side. So let me look at it while y'all look at the back of the head so I can ensure that we're coming from the same point. Y'all know them braiders who do this here to make sure you're at the center. So that's kind of what I'm doing off on the sides. So that it all appears the same. Be hitting in the same point. All right. All right. So take a look at that, y'all. Are we hitting in the same area? And I know some of you barbers, you know, who are watching, you're like, we don't do that. But for those barbers who braid or style hair, this is something that we do, okay? I'm going to get to the other part in terms of sectioning and working in sections, as I mentioned in the last video. So if this guy came into the barbershop with his hair like this and said he wanted to cut his sides and back down because he's going to start, he just want to braid the top, this is what we would do. This is what I would do. Some faded in, some want definite, a defined section in the hair for braiding, and they keep the sides and back faded low, either bald, light, dark, whatever it is. We got some folks in. Hey, WK, thank you for joining. Greatly appreciated. We are talking about controlling the hair. You control the cut, and sectioning is a strategy. And tonight I am speaking not only from cutting the hair, but also braiding the hair, and why sectioning is a strategy for both. So in this particular scenario, this gentleman has come into the barbershop. He wants to get his hair braided or keep it braided on top. He's had it braided all over, but now he wants his sides and back cut. Some want a defined section for their top to be braided or styled however they desire. Some don't, and they just want it faded until you get into that top and you leave the top longer. But the majority of my clients have a well-defined section such as this, and I fade them out. Whether they want it bald, light, dark, whatever it is that they want, they're faded out. So in this case, we're using the scenario as he wants a defined section because he's going to be braiding the top, and he wants to cut off the sides and back. So with that, sectioning is very, very important. And once again, clean parts create clean outcome. I'm going to say outcome. In this case, it's cutting. So if we're going to cut this and he wants to braid this, but he want to clearly define section, we're going to make sure that it's clean. Our parts are clean. The section is clean. It's symmetrical here. Let me get this off. It's symmetrical. And even though I know we are not 100% symmetrical, we're going to place it in a manner that it visually looks like it's symmetrical. Okay. Let me pull this up just a little bit more, y'all. Bear with me. We working this. We working this. So if you can see this young man, we got him parted out. I got the head tilted a little bit. Let's straighten the head up so the parts won't look like it's leaning. But as you can see, we got them sectioned out, okay? And I also check it by leaning it forward because you want to make sure it's hitting on the same spot here, okay? I am a little high on this side, so naturally I would go in and correct it. I'm going to let y'all see it from the back. You can tell I'm a little high on one side. So naturally I would part it out, section it out until it looks even on all sides, okay? So with him, we'll go in and cut. So this is representative of clean parts. Is going to create a clean cut once I'd be finished with it. So sectioning gives you visual clarity, physical control, and consistent guidelines. So let's switch him. We still ain't gave him the female version of LaDosha's name. So we got Pretty Ricky here. Pretty Ricky hanging out with us too. And I don't know, I'm gonna call her Suge because you know my mom's nickname was Suge. So I'm gonna call her Suge. This is just all right. So when you're braiding, for those of you barber stylists who specialize in braiding or natural hair care, things along those lines, you want to use the same principle of having clean parts so that you'll create clean braiding sections. So with that, I'm gonna take a few of his clips out. So for instance, if we were doing two cornrow braids on the side, y'all know them braids. I forget the two braids on the side where you start here and come to the back. We would ensure that our part is clean. She's sectioned out well. And the reason being, you want clean parts, so it creates a clean section because you want that evenness on both sides here. Y'all see that? Let me bend her head down so you can see it. All right. Is she crooked? Let me turn her around and look at that nose. Y'all know how they do here. Come all the way. Uh-oh, I'm doing it reverse. Come all the way down and up. So let me straighten this part out because I don't want to hear y'all in the comments. She got a crooked part there. It is crooked, but I'm going to fix it. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. So here we go. And y'all know when they put hair in these mannequin heads, it's a whole different ball game to work with them things. So I think we got her. Hold on. Let's take a look here. All right, let me tighten it down. Okay, so when you part, when your parts are clean, your lines are cleaner, and with cutting, your blending becomes clean when you work in sections. And I explained to y'all when I had the episode last week that I'm going to pull up Puerto Rican so y'all can see him or see me demonstrate it once more. So for those of you who are catching this, you get a visual and an understanding of what I mean. So for the braiders, those barbers who braid, you want to make sure you have clean sections. So when I was saying with Pretty Ricky last week, when we were talking about visualizing the cut here, when you go around the head in sections, some people cut in sections. So in other words, they'll start here and they'll finish this whole section from bald fade, light fade, whatever it is, and blend it all the way up. Then they'll come to this section and do the same thing. And then they'll come to this section and do the same thing until they're finished with the cut. I like to go all the way around with my guidelines and go into the next guideline, go into the till I finish the cut. But nonetheless, if we're doing the sectioning part, as we're talking about sectioning being a strategy and controlling the hair, so that you're able to control the cut, that's one way that you're able to do that as well. If you decided to cut in sections. So you would do this section, do this section, and do this section, or do this section, depending on if you left or right. You might start opposite side. Whichever way you start, it doesn't matter, just as long as you follow your system and your system helps you to produce the end result that you're looking for and that your client desires. So ultimately, work your system, all right? But we're just speaking fundamentals in terms of sectioning, visualizing it, controlling the hair. That way you're able to control the cut as well as control the outcome with the braid style as well. And like I say, I'm throwing that in because I am a barber stylist who actually specializes in doing Afro textured hair. So once again, clean parts create clean cuts, or clean sectioning creates clean cutting. Clean parts create clean braids, you know, and in his case, it'll help me to define his cut and define the section that he's going to keep so that he can continue to get the top of his head braided. All right. So once again, when your parts are clean, your lines are cleaner, your blending is smoother, and your work looks intentional. So we don't want to try to fade without clear sections or utilizing that section or your guidelines to help you through the cut, to know where you are and to keep you in control of what you're doing. So you want to try to draw the visual, or you see it so that you can produce it, so you won't be correcting, all right? And impeding your progression of doing the cut or the braiding, whichever one it is for you. So the next point you want to get to, so before I close that out, remember that the foundation of precision starts with a part or your section, and then clean parts, clean cuts, every time. You get it all the time. So the key here is your sectioning, your parting will produce the clean cuts, or in my case, on this particular one, the braid. So that braid will come out even. I'm just going to do a quick braid on her so y'all will see it. I'm going to do a quick little something here so you can see the symmetry and see the evenness here. Unless you was creating, oh, I left out a piece of hair. Hold on, y'all. Got to go back and catch it. Hopefully, I don't know if my Instagram folks can see the visual. Let me take this down because we're actually finished with those notes. That way, my Instagram folks can see it. And let me move her in the viewing. Move Pretty Ricky out the way here so y'all can see. So as you notice, the part is down the center, which produces not only a clean section, is going to produce symmetry in the outcome in terms of this braid here. So let me just finish this off real quick so you can see that. All righty. I'm just going to take that and pin it up here. So we pin that out the way so y'all can see that. And then I'll come over here, get this section together, and do a quick braid on this section here for you. And then we're going to jump right into working order, not emotion. And I guess y'all like, well, what does that mean? Working order, working order, not in emotions. I'm going to talk to you about it, but let me finish her up. Let me finish Sugar up real quick. Let me lean her over to the side. All right. And long hair gets tangled, so let's make sure that that's combed through. Oh, I found the braid still from the girls. That's what it is. All right, there we go. Now we got it all combed out. All right, y'all. So let's get this section braided. Real quick. It's more like a messy braid. You know, the ones that you can kind of pull apart, loosen it up a little bit. All righty. I used to wear these back in the day. Some people still wear them. A little fashionable there. All right, all right, all right, all right. Hold on, y'all. Okay, and I'm going to use my clip just to pin this up so we can see the illustration of having clean parts, yielding clean results. So let me get her head position right so you can see it. Okay. All right. Y'all see that, right? This is why sectioning is a strategy, especially when it comes down to braiding, y'all. You gotta have them parts so those sections look as symmetrical as they possibly can. So that's sure with her braiding. I got hair all stuck all on me. Anywho, so for number 2, work in order, not emotions. What do we mean by this? Follow a system, not what looks off. You know, follow a system. And yes, you're going to use your mirror because you're going to see things that may be off, but you don't let that emotional part rule what you're doing. So you want to work with the strategy or work within a system so that you yield the results that you desire. Let me put up um, number 2 here. Hold on, y'all. All right, all right. Number 2. Let's pull it up here. Okay. So with number 2, you work in order, not emotions. What are we talking about here? You're going to follow a system, not what looks off. Okay? Because if you're chasing what looks off, you don't have a system that you're following to keep you organized. All right. So the deeper angle for this is new barbers oftentimes jump around because things catch their eyes or something catches their eyes. So they'll jump over here and try to fix this and jump on the other side. Let me pull this back around. Let me pull. So they'll jump because something look off there. They may jump over here. Uh-oh. It is off. I just messed up the part. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. So they'll jump over here and then jump over to whatever else looks off instead of, working their system to keep you organized. All right. So when you do that, you want to start in a section, you want to complete it, and then you move to the next. That helps you with timing. It helps you with your system in terms of cutting and or braiding, and it just keeps you organized. So as you can see on the diagram, it says what most, I'm gonna say new barbers do, they are hopping all around the head versus working in sections or having a system in which they work in. All right. This is an example. You see it's off over here and then you look, oh, it's off over there. Then you jump around over here instead of following it all the way, following that section all the way around, taking them clippers, getting that hair. But what I would do, once I check with the client to make sure this is how much they want to leave on the top, and say they want to do a ball fade, but they wanted a little dark along here, I go ahead and debulk all of this, get this out the way. I clear this, get it out the way, and then come back in and clean it up. Yep. Sure enough. But you can tell this is off, right? You see that? And what did I share with you on the last episode? You got to see the cut before you see it before you cut, visualize the outcome. So here, before I go in the cut, I'll just make sure that it's hitting on them same points on each side of the head. Clean that up just a little bit more. Then we'll go in and break them on down, y'all. Break them on down. So as I mentioned before, you can see oftentimes new barbers jump around because something catches their eye. That creates imbalance, okay? You want to start in a section, you want to complete it and move on to the next. And if your section is doing your guideline all the way around the head, then you go ahead and take it around the head. If your system is you work in sections, you fade this section out, you complete it, you come and you fade this section out, you complete it, then you come and fade this section out, you complete it, then work that system, okay? You work that system. That's how you maintain structure and avoid overcutting. So work in order, not emotions, so that you work to maintain structure versus finding yourself overcutting or cutting off too much hair. So you see a dark spot, one side, and rush to fix it. Stick with your side. Stick with wherever you are so you're not hopping around the head. All right? Have a system. Follow a system. Don't jump around the head. Please don't jump around the head because you're going to confuse yourself eventually and forget where you are and then find yourself overcutting. Stay in your system, whatever your system is, whether you work top down, bottom up, section here, section there, section here, or you take it and you go all the way around and finish the first guideline. You go all the way around, finish the second guideline. Whatever system you use, work that system, stay within your system, okay? And if it works for you and you're comfortable with it, work it, all right? So the last point that I want to get into is sectioning builds confidence. Once you get that section, you get everything sectioned out, you're working within your system, that improves your confidence and it helps you out. So the more competent you are about what it is that you're doing, i.e. using your system of cutting, whatever that is, like I said, whether it's section by section by section, or if it's you going from top to bottom or bottom to top, whatever it is, use your system, master your system, and stay in your system, okay? Sectioning builds confidence. Structure removes hesitation, all right? Structure removes hesitation. When you know exactly where you're working, you hesitate less, you don't second guess, or you second guess less. I'm gonna just say you second guess less, and you move with purpose, okay? Let's put that point up there. Give me a second. Remove this so you can see this. All right. Hold on. Let's get number 3 here. So sectioning builds confidence, okay? It builds confidence. If you're working in this section, you complete that, you move into the next section. You know you got it down pat. You continue to move into the next section. Whatever your structure is, work your structure, stay within your system, all right? So once again, sectioning builds confidence. Structure removes hesitation. And when you know exactly where you're working, guess what? You hesitate less, you second guess less, and you move with purpose. Sectioning gives you a roadmap. Without it, you are driving without directions, okay? Your system, you can say sectioning or your system. Your system provides you with a roadmap to complete the cut or get the style done, all right? Section, system. Work your system. Use your sections. If you're braiding, ensure that you have clean parts, okay? That's going to help you to achieve the end result that you desire. This is a good tutorial. Thank you. I appreciate it, WK. Thank you so much. I'm working to get my teaching on. It's a passion of mine. And like I shared before, for those of you who are tuning in, though I grew up in the industry, I'm still new as a professional within the industry. And some of the things that I've observed and some of the things that I've experienced, because I'm a little more seasoned in age, I wanted to focus on those individuals, whether they be master hair care braiders, barbers, master barbers, who are in school or newly out of school, or who've only been in the industry, I'm going to say 3 years or less. My focus is to help them to build a foundation, lay a foundation that they can build upon. And as this series speaks of, Think Like a Barber foundation, focus, and execution. We want the skills to meet structure so that the structure builds a better professional for the individual in the beauty and barbering industry. So that population is my passion. So with that, these series of barber knowledge is what I am focused on as it relates to those barbers who are in school or master hair care or even braiders. Cosmetology individuals can use this. And better yet, you can take the beauty and or barber portion out and you can still use this. If you got clear guidelines or clear points that you need for whatever industry that you're in, you're going to be able to work in order, work within a system to ultimately help you build confidence to continue on in whatever it is that you're doing. So these fundamental principles technically can be used in any format or in any area, but we are using these principles here in barbering, and I'm gonna say in braiding, all right? Because whether you're sectioning, you're utilizing clean parts to produce the results that you want with braiding, locks, twists, cornrows, whatever it is, you got to make sure that your parts are clean. For cutting, you got to make sure that you are in that section and you're not hopping around the head because that cut is going to be off. All right. So once again, sectioning builds confidence, structure removes hesitation. And when you know exactly where you're working, you hesitate less. You don't, well, you second guess less. I'm not going to say you don't second guess, but you second guess less when you have structure in place. So you also move with purpose because you understand where you are on the head, what you're doing in that section. So therefore, your confidence is built, or it is building continuously, and you're moving with purpose because you're understanding what you're doing, where you're at, why you're doing what you're doing. All right. So barbers who feel unsure mid-cut usually skip around structure early on. So if you're not skipping around and you're working in order and you're working your system or staying within your system, and I'm specifically saying your system, whatever system of cutting you have, work that system, master your system. There's no right or wrong way. And as I was told when I first started cutting, if I quote unquote messed up, my mentor at the time, Linda Ricks, would just say, it's unfinished. It's just an unfinished cut. Or if there was an error in the cut, well, then we'll just have to change the cut. Okay? May not be what the client wanted when they came in because of the error, but we can fix it. The cut may have to be changed, and they get something different, but we can still get it done. All right. So you work your system, stay within your system, you master your system. And in doing so and having that structure, it'll remove the hesitation. It'll remove your second guess less, and you'll move with purpose and intention. So sectioning gives you a roadmap without you driving without directions. Okay. It's like you not having your GPS. Well, some folks know how to get certain places. That's because they've been there numerous times. So they don't need a roadmap. And in that case, once you utilize your roadmap or your system, then you won't have to think about it as much because now you got muscle memory. Based on where you are in the head, you know what needs to be done next. Okay. So that's point number 3. Once again, point number 1, clean parts create clean cuts. Clean parts create clean sections. For braiding, I'm throwing that in there. And you work in order, not emotions. And what we mean by emotions, you're not looking at what's off. You're sticking to your system. You're sticking to the structure that you set up, and you're working within that. All right. So that you're not over here, then you're over here, and then you back here, you're off. Okay. Not jumping around the head with whatever catches your eye. So real talk here. Let's talk about some points here for the real talk section. Messy sections lead to messy blends, or messy parting leads to uneven braids and a not so decent looking outcome. Okay. Jumping around the head creates inconsistency. So when you're jumping around the head, you're going to have a lot of inconsistency in your styling or your cut. Okay. Confidence doesn't come from speed. It comes from structure. When you've mastered your system, your structure, guess what? You're going to have that confidence, and then you'll be able to speed up. Okay. Now, if you keep fixing the cut and going back and checking your section, that's another thing that oftentimes happens with the newer barber. They're fixing the cut, they're going back and they're checking the sections. But if you're confident in your system and you're sticking with your system, once you finish that section, you're going to know it's good. Now, that's not to say when you finish the entire, in this case, cut, you done faded, you done blended. Now you're going back in to kind of fine tune and detail it out. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm talking about here is that you're not going back in and, fixing something. You're finalizing and detailing it out. All right. And the last thing is clean work starts before the clippers even turn on. So clean work, going back to seeing it, visualizing it, setting your sections up, your parting, getting that hair right, especially if it's a client such as this gentleman. He want to keep his top, he want to cut his sides and back. If he wants a clearly defined part around the head, you want to ensure that the symmetry is correct. If it's a braider or a master hair care person who's doing that, you want to operate from the same principles so that you yield the same end result. So had I parted this off, the braids would have looked off, unless that's part of the style, a part of the end result that you want, where you got a slant or you got a zigzag, which is part of the designer braids. Okay. So once again, real talk, messy sections lead to messy blends, messy outcome, messy parting. You won't get the consistency in the braids unless that's what you're looking for. Jumping around the head creates inconsistency. Confidence doesn't come from speed, it comes from structure. So stay in your system, master your system, and that will increase your confidence. Okay. Structure creates confidence. Structure brings control, which brings on consistency as well. And clean work starts before the clippers turn on. So operate in cleanliness. I'm just going to say that. Operate in cleanliness, because clients watch and people notice that. Believe it or not, people notice that. So those are the points for sectioning is strategy. Control the hair, control the cut. You control the hair, you control the braiding, you control the lock retwist, you control the lock maintenance, or whatever service you offer as it relates to the hair. You control that section, control that hair. You gonna control the braids, the cut. You gonna control the end result. But what helps to create that? Sectioning. That is your strategy. Whether it's sectioning the head to fade and blend, or sectioning the head to produce the desired braids or the desired outcome with whatever it is that you're doing on that natural hair. Okay, so that's all we have for this section, episode 71. Sectioning is strategy. Control the hair, control the cut. We had point number one: create clean parts, create clean cuts. Clean parts create clean braids. Create clean braiding sections. And number two, work in order, not emotions. And what we meant by emotions is not looking at what's off. You want to stick to your system, follow your system, stay in your system. Okay, follow that system. And the third point is sectioning builds confidence. Okay, structure removes hesitation. So when you have that sectioning down, your confidence is up. It removes hesitation. It lessens the second guessing, and it allows you to move with purpose and intention. Okay. And to close us out, structure is what separates effort from excellence. When you got structure, you're going to yield excellent results. When you don't have structure or don't operate in a system, it's going to look like, oh, he, it's just an effort. He was just doing it, or she was just doing it. You know, you always want to operate, utilize your system, maximize your system, and make it work for you. Okay, structure is what separates effort from excellence. Anybody can pick up clippers. Anybody can pick away my comb. Anybody can pick up a rat tail comb. Anybody can pick up a brush or any of the tools of the trade. Anybody can do that, but nobody knows how to control the process. So anybody can pick this up, but if nobody knows how to control the process, then you're not going to get the results that you desire. Control that hair, control the cut, you control the braid. And sectioning is going to be the strategy that you use to control the hair, to ultimately control the cut and control the braid. So when you master sectioning, you stop guessing and you start guiding the cut. You start guiding those braids. You start guiding whatever it is you're doing as it relates to braiding the hair or cutting that hair, styling that hair. Okay? Remember, foundation, focus, execution. We are training your mind before your hands ever touch those clippers. That's what this series is about. Thinking like a barber. Okay? Thinking like a barber. Foundation, focus, and execution. I want to say thank you to those of you who've tuned in. I greatly appreciate you all's continued support. If you know a barber who's newly in the industry, just completed their schooling, please share these barber knowledge videos with them. I believe they will be of tremendous assistance, support, and a wealth of knowledge to assist them with laying their foundation and building upon that foundation that they've gotten in school. And this is just more tools for the toolbox. Thank you all once again. I am Yah-Tay Keaton, Yah-Tay the Barber Educator, and Yah-Tay the Barber Stylist here on Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. And this has been episode number 71. Sectioning is strategy. Control the hair, control the cut, control the parting. You control the end results as it relates to those braids. All right. Thank you all once again. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, and share, and subscribe. If you have anything that you'd like to see, please share in the comments. And until next time, enjoy. Take care.
Naturals, naturals.